Well, the national organization representing 110,000 small and medium-sized business owners in this country has now added its voice to the growing chorus from the business community in this country, calling on the Prime Minister to bring the blockades to an end. Dan Kelly is the president of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, and he joins me now in our studios. Good to see you, Dan Kelly.
Good to be here.
We usually talk from Toronto, where you're headquartered, but here you are today. Good to have you with me. You've written this open letter to the Prime Minister to tell him about the concerns your members are having about these blockades as they continue. Let's start there. What effect are they having on your members? What are you hearing?
Well, in the first couple of days, nobody was going crazy as a result of the changes, and we want to make sure that there's space for debate and action. But now, as this drags on a couple of weeks, we're starting to hear big time from small and medium-sized companies saying that they are running out of supply. They're running the risk of missing contracts. We had a message from a Quebec member who's waiting on a shipment of raw materials from Taiwan that's stuck on the rails. Mm-hmm. She said that she's about to miss a $100,000 order and questions whether she'll have her U.S. customer actually purchase from her again if she misses it. So these are real impacts that are having having a huge effect on small and medium-sized companies.
And when you talk about the first couple of days, people see this as a disruption that,
sure.
Okay, let's see where it goes. It goes on to 2 weeks. And how much of is the concern around the fact that it seems to be open-ended? Nobody can say, okay, next Tuesday it ends, so plan accordingly. How much of that is the issue?
Well, that's just it. It's like a strike or any kind of other disruption that happens. You can kind of bite your teeth and get through it for a couple of days. After a while, though, it starts to have a material impact on your year. The companies that I'm hearing from are themselves a couple of weeks away from layoffs. Lots and lots of companies telling us they have supplies for the next week or so, but after that, it's anyone's guess. It starts to have an impact on even the future of some of these companies. I spoke to an Alberta manufacturer who's waiting on steel and says that he's about a couple of weeks away from hundreds of layoffs in this medium-sized company. These are serious effects on the economy, and the lack of certainty around this is a worry. The other thing, of course, that's on the mind of a lot of small business owners is, because this is going on, how much more of this can we expect to see happen in the future? If this is viewed as
this whole area of certainty around Canada as a place to do business.
This is just it, and we're starting to see signs that, and I think send the message to international suppliers that Canada isn't a particularly, you can't have confidence in some cases in your Canadian supplier. And what a damaging reputation that can be on the small business that is out there with our new trade agreements, trying to build a customer base in Europe or in the United States.
In many cases with the pledged and spoken support, sometimes financial support of the federal government.
You got
Go
it.
out there and find foreign markets.
Well, it's affecting our brand as a country, and I think if more and more groups turn to this kind of thing as a way of resolving the fact that they don't feel like the government is really listening to them or taking them seriously, then this can affect the future of Canada, the future of our Canadian economy. That's very, very troubling.
What do you want from the Prime Minister?
Well, look, the Prime Minister is known to have very strong relationship building skills. I'm really happy that he has cut short his international trip and is now tending to this. But I think that this needs his personal touch to try to broker the situation and fix the problem. I am under no illusions that this is going to be easy, but this is why we need national leaders to take these kinds of things seriously.
So where are you? Because the debate's now around, send the police in. That's where we're quickly getting to that. Send the police in and end the blockades. Take these things down and move on. Is that the solution, or
look?
Maybe that's not up to you.
We're choosing the least worst option right now, but I think that there's got to be an attempt on the part of the Prime Minister personally to try to address this by meeting with the leadership and talking to them. I know that there are challenges, and it takes two parties to tango here. But the relationship building skills that he's used at the international level need to be applied at the domestic level.
Do you want him
very quickly? Otherwise, I think we do need to start exploring options like having police intervention, because the economy of Canada just can't be put in jeopardy in this way.
That raises the prospect then, and it becomes this circular concern, right? So you send the police in and the blockade, you can expect more blockades.
Well,
and that worsens the problem for your members.
It does, but the other way is not helping us out either. I think that, look, every single month I get a small business owner who's frustrated with the government telling me at CFIB, leading 110,000 members, that I should organize a campaign where every small business stops collecting GST or HST or refuses to pay their taxes, to send a message to government. How far are we going to go as Canadians where we tolerate breaking the law? And I never, I tell those business owners that if they lose the trust of the rest of Canadians, that's going to have more negative impact on them than they realize. But if groups start seeing this as an avenue to success, to get their cause on the front page of the paper, we're in serious trouble, and that's even without the police intervening. That's what's happening right now.
Your letter also talks about a role here for the Canada Revenue Agency. What are you saying?
Well, very soon we need to start thinking about the short and medium term impacts that this is having on small business. One of the first things governments can do is, of course, urge all of the agencies to be lenient with businesses that are directly affected by this. If the future of your business is right now is affected, you're not worrying about your remittance of your GST,
coming
HST.
up on tax time and so on.
This is just it. So we've got to have government be more lenient on those kinds of things, and they've typically done that in the past where we've had these big events. Secondly, of course, I think there needs to be some thought as to whether or not some of the businesses that are most severely affected are going to have some form of compensation to address this. And we're coming up to that. Again, businesses try to bide their time to wait these things out. But we're kind of at that point now where this is going to result in layoffs and in some cases businesses questioning whether or not they continue.
And finish on this because it's important for people to understand and probably do, but the difference between a small or medium-sized business and some of the big corporations that often can have, for want of a better description, can have a float to carry them through these difficult times. Not so much with small businesses.
No, not at all. I mean, the small firms, typically with 50 or fewer employees, are operating really on their week's return. They don't have usually big reserve funds to bide out. They don't have international departments that can supplement and help out, or lending agencies that they can call on a whim. Canadian banks need, of course, to be lenient in terms of some of the payments that may be missed if this goes on any longer. But small firms don't have the resources to buy this out, and the future of some of these companies and the future for their employees is in jeopardy if we don't get this solved.
All right, Dan Kelly, thanks for your perspective. Appreciate your time today.
Anytime.